Awe, Quidagis, meus nomen Bilster 3 est. And while strolling through Cursed Forge for new mod packs to try out, I found a mod pack called Cursed Walking by OnMod. This is a mod pack of 183 different mods, thank God for my game not crashing, and I know nothing else besides that. I wanted a challenge for myself and choose to find a mod pack that looked interesting and then do no research on it. My goal is to beat said mod pack's hardest boss at my own pace, so don't expect this to be a 100-day video or even a 1,000-day video. I may even kill the final boss on day 1 of my first attempt. As if. Disclaimer though, I am not releasing an entire story all at once. I am doing 1-hour-long playthroughs, editing it, and creating the script, then publish. How this story will end, I do not know as of writing this first script. Tomorrow's heartaches are just as elusive to me as they are to you. Having said all that, this is my first attempt at surviving a blind run of a zombie apocalypse, Cursed Walking. Spawning into the new world of uncertainty, I first take note of what the game gave me as a starter kit. The game equipped me with a gas mask, leather boots, 9 loaves of bread, an animal dictionary, an M1911, and a stack of 45 bullets to complement the pistol. The terrain around me was hilly, with lots of tall grass, sporadic trees, a relatively flat area, and it could be a good spot to build in. The biome was alive with pigs, sheep, and different birds from seagulls and crows that if you let yourself admire the world around you for too long, you might even forget you're in a dead world. After figuring out what all I had on me, I started to work out on getting the items I don't have and will need in order to survive basic Minecraft. Collected some wood and made a crafting table, then checked out my surroundings and saw a house in close proximity. I decided to cautiously explore the house for any early game starter loot. However, in hindsight, I think this was a poor decision. The first priority to survival is to find a place to stay for the night and that it's safe. Although this house might have been a good place to stay, it was not my motivation to explore the house, and if a previous resident was inside, it could have meant dangerous consequences for me. Dang, that looks like crap. So I can get infected in this mod. I need to be cautious. The house offered little in supplies, except chainmail pants and an iron shovel. I wanted a melee weapon as soon as possible, since I had limited number of bullets and didn't quite know how the undead acted in this world. Again, I've done no research on this mod pack, so if there's some strange variants, or if they're all just walkers from The Walking Dead, I truly don't know. I have to figure it out on my own. I left the house, talking out loud about my goals and what I was willing to do and not do, trying to set up rules for myself to follow. Firstly, avoid the city at all costs and leave looting to a minimum. Collecting everything from the ground up in the immediate area and take everything slowly. I understand nothing about this world and its rules. I will need to figure them out before I can advance. Exploring more of my immediate surroundings, I found a snow biome with walruses, or seals. I didn't know what their hostile level was, so I chose to ignore them and move on. Moving deeper into the plains biome, I found some raccoons and accidentally punched one. It became hostile, so I killed it and collected its tail.
Raccoon. Uh-oh. You don't want to do that.
I got a raccoon tail. Soon after the raccoon killing, I found a beach and a cave system. I hope to use this cave system as my future mine shaft. The cave was deep and dark, so I didn't explore much at first, but soon that will have to change in time. I reached the beach and began exploring its banks, and even though I didn't notice it until I started writing this script, the seagulls can steal food from my slot bar. This thing seagulls can do is a future issue I will want to be rid of later in the video. Annoying pest. Not traveling too far from the beach, I placed my crafting table up against a tree and began to craft materials to construct my temporary shelter. Collecting my first cobblestone from a pillar of stone nearby, then making stone tools to go hunting with. I needed wool for a bed, at the very least, to make the night go by faster. So I quickly set out to kill 2 brown sheep in hopes of God giving me an extra brown wool for a bed.
Give me a third. That sucks.
I was not lucky. Then to add to the bad luck, I encountered my first infected variant. In the distance, I saw it moving at a terrifying speed, much like a baby zombie. Wielding an iron shovel, this thing charged at me, and I prepared my stone axe for combat.
Whoa, what the frick? Alright.
With 2 swings of my axe, I killed the zombie. It was a minor victory, but a needed one. It also woke me up to the possibility of variant zombies, and this scared me more than anything. The thought of a horde of runner zombies or brute-like zombies that could kill me in an instant was petrifying. I decided to quickly build up in the very tree I placed my crafting table and make a treehouse base. This would give me the ability to survey my surroundings and hide from the infected if need be. This treehouse would also serve as my observation tower, as I planned to experiment with the zombies' abilities. The sun then began to set, and I quickly finished up my treehouse to prepare for the nightmares of the night. I truly didn't know what to expect, and...
Whoa, what?
He has a crossbow? Another variant. This one can shoot at me with a bow. I retreated to my treehouse and made a trap door to block the ladder. Now stuck at the top of my tree, I watched as the sun set and another seagull takes my food from my hotbar. So, okay, they have crossbows. What are you doing? Get out of here, seagull. These seagulls, I will plan on killing all of them if God will let me. Annoying things. As darkness engulfs the surrounding areas of my little treehouse, I placed torches to light up my little world. Then the undead began to rise from the ground and began their hunt for the living. Quickly, the hordes of the undead began to gather at the base of my treehouse. Luckily, they can't cut down trees, so my treehouse was never in any threat of being brought down by the hordes. Unfortunately, when I placed the torches around my treehouse, I think it attracted the zombies en masse. And now I find myself trapped in the very place I thought I would call safety. I decided, as I was building up the treehouse to strengthen its defenses, I could hear the undead gathering below me. Quickly destroying the torches in my treehouse I thought were visible to the undead, and I prayed they would go away, hoping that if they were attracted to the light, that by destroying the light source they would go away. This was not the case. The night began to fade, and the hordes continued to gather. I was trapped in the very tree I thought I was safe in, but with little to no blocks to escape with. As day began to break, the groans of the dead grew louder. I began to worry about how I was going to escape my self-constructed prison. Sweet Jesus! They can climb on top of each other. I thought about hovering over the horde and one by one kill them all, until I learned about another attribute of these walking corpses. They could climb on top of each other, much like in the movie World War Z, if anybody's seen that classic. I cannot hover over the undead and kill them. It would risk one or many of them to climb on top of each other and then hit me off into the greater horde. I was about out of ideas when the undead began to climb up to my sanctuary and break the leaves below me. At this point, I was trying my hardest not to panic and to think of any means of escape. Nothing was coming to mind, as the horde was too big below me to fight, and the ocean was too far to jump or run to. I also had a limited number of bullets, and didn't have enough to kill a horde of maybe 20 infected. After a while of contemplating my options, I had a plan to escape and lure the dead away from my treehouse. But it was risky, as all things are in life. I would have to cut down some of the treehouse and turn them into planks, then skybridge over to the ocean and jump into the blistering cold. This was the best plan I can come up with, and I had enough planks to make into slabs to escape. While bridging, however, an arrow whizzed past me, and I feared I would have to contend with zombies shooting at me while bridging. But then I noticed something odd. The common infected, as I will call them, suddenly attacked and killed the variant zombie with a crossbow. I don't know why the common zombies didn't kill the variant sooner. Maybe it was because when the variant fired his arrow, it landed on a common and made the horde angry. For whatever the reason, I continued bridging to the ocean as the horde followed me slowly with their sounds of hunger growing ever louder. After bridging to the ocean's edge, I prepared a mental plan to combat the undead that would surely follow me once I jumped. I crafted a boat just in case of a need for a quick escape, then jumped into the cold waters of the Atlantic. Luring the undead into the waters, the movement was slowed, but knowing that the zombies could climb on top of each other, they could theoretically launch themselves in my direction. I had to keep a fair distance away from the horde as I attempted to cut them down with my axe. It was a fruitless process, I thought would work. When the zombies began to drown and turn to drowned zombies, I knew I had to just flee the area and hope the horde would follow me elsewhere.
If they're all just gonna drown, I think I'll just have to lead them away. Or better yet, hopefully they'll follow me. Well, they got lost arrow. Why are y'all not following me? Oh boy. Alright. I need more cobblestone.
I rowed my boat
There
not
we
far
go.
from the treehouse and stumbled upon a windmill in a village.
What the frick is with the sky tower? It's made out of some random looking block. Oh, it's a windmill. I bet it's a windmill.
Before I continued exploring the area, I wanted to cut down a
There you
tree
are.
to replenish my wood supply, when a zombie ran up to me.
Nope.
Not wanting to waste time, I quickly shot it, and shortly thereafter, a second zombie appeared. This encounter made me think the undead may be attracted to sound, and I made a mental note about testing this theory out later. Quickly the sun was setting out on the horizon, and I wanted to bed quickly to avoid another night shift at Chucky Zombie's Pizzeria. After collecting a bed,
Oh, I am so sorry.
I towered up into another tree and quickly went to bed.
Okay. Gotta turn that chat down. Holy crap.
Turns out the village I stumbled upon wasn't completely abandoned. There were survivors there, but not many. It appears this village may have survived the undead because of the many arms dealing shops near each other. The shops were looted and I never found any guns in them, which sucked. But this is my only explanation as to why so many villagers were still alive. Thanks to the cartel. After finishing looting the area, I walked away with some hay bales and 3 diamonds, then proceeded to walk back to my treehouse. Soon after returning to my base, I started setting up my light zombie test, a few blocks away. The premise is barbaric, but the idea is to have a player place blocks illuminated by torches and watch for my treehouse if zombies are drawn near the light. That way I can test to see if zombies are actually drawn to the light. After building the light zombie test, I waited for nightfall in the safety of my treehouse, then waited and watched the area to see if zombies were drawn to the light.
Why are they not attracted to the light?
The tests were inconclusive, but I have a theory as to what might be happening. I did witness one zombie run a little ways to the torches, then stop while others just didn't bother looking at the light. I think zombies are drawn, not attracted, to a light source, but are not aggro on light sources unless a player is in proximity to said light source. With this information, I started testing number 2 with a goat horn I found back in the first structure I looted when spawning into this world.
Oh, oh.
The goat horn produced negative results as I blew the horn many times and not a single zombie in the distance would chase the sound. However, I think different sounds attract the undead better than others, such as modded items, not vanilla items. This is just a hypothesis, but I think when I fired off my gun back at the occupied village, it did attract the second zombie. The goat horn is not a modded item like the zombies or the gun, so maybe when I have ammo to waste, I will test this hypothesis. However, said all this, tonight's testing was slow going, but it did give some clarity into the rules of this decaying world. Keep light sources to a minimum, and keep sound still to a minimum. In the morning, another horde had gathered underneath my treehouse, but not as bad as the first, thanks to my prioritizing of keeping the light levels low. It would appear the undead would always find me regardless of light level or sound, though. I would have to lure the horde into the ocean again, but instead of running away this time, I would fight back, and in doing so, learn something else about the dead. Normal mob drops are replaced in the zombies, so I can get ender pearls and gunpowder when I kill them. This is a great thing to know, so when eventually I try to create a mob farm, I can collect various amounts of items I otherwise couldn't get, such as ender pearls, bones, string, and maybe even gunpowder. It's quite a nifty attribute that these undead have. Hopefully, though, the ones who drop gunpowder don't explode. An exploding zombie would just spell death for us all. After kindly reminding the zombies of who has rights in this world, I went about my day in building projects for my food stamp consumption. A corral for livestock and a farm by the ocean front. I don't have a bucket and I'm too nervous to iron mine yet, so I created a rudimentary canal of water to fertilize the soil. Later, while building, I would witness a brutal zombie mauling an unknown creature in the distance. I think it was a seagull just because of the particle effects of it dying were above its head. What are you chasing? What were you chasing?
What is that, zombie?
It's a zombie, like a fast one too.
Is he chasing something or is he wandering?
He's chasing stuff. Like something died and then he moved on to the next thing and he has his... After some sort of bird.
Let's see if he goes after the sheep. You might have to get
No, he's not after the sheep at all. He avoids cattle. I think it's the bird he's trying to kill. This was another quirk of the undead, as it would appear the undead will not attack livestock, but will kill the seagulls or crows. I'm still unsure, but it is a weird thing to witness. Afterwards, I planted trees and hoping to make a natural wall barrier from the undead. This, however, I think is another bad idea in hindsight, as it allows for dark areas to spawn more zombies rather than repel them. I could cut down the tree and then just replace the wood to make a makeshift wooden wall, but they would climb over it. I could also be extremely lazy-ish about this and just get some shears or a hoe and cut down the leaves surrounding the trees, thus making it so I don't have to place blocks. All I have to do is allow the thing to grow and then remove the thing that's causing the dark spots. I'm still unsure, and this will be a future project for the next video if I make it to that. Making progress on the base and start the process of long-term sustainability is an exciting undertaking. While in the process of building my base, two zombies caught me off guard. What are you doing in my pen? Oh, there's a rainbow. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for what might happen next in this challenge. Your guess is as good as mine. Anywho, Wale.